There's many days you don't think about it, and then there's other days where you're constantly aware that you've got such a high risk of cancer. If you've got a cancer diagnosis, I think one of the hardest things about it is the timing. You have to do it straight away. You don't get much time to think about it. Knowing I'm BRCA2 is powerful because I get to make choices. I can avoid cancer. That's what it means to me. There's just no doubt in my mind that I would get breast cancer, and you realise how important life is. We wouldn't have understood it, but now we've got the gene, we know why. I didn't want to live with that risk for the rest of my life. I decided that around age 30 I'd have a preventative double mastectomy. Charlotte Pittuck, I'm 30 and I've got 3 children, Samuel and Edie, who are twins, and Harry. I've got the BRCA2 gene, which I found out about 4 years ago. My aunt in Australia had breast cancer, and my paternal grandmother also had breast cancer bilaterally. As soon as I knew I had this gene, it was a no-brainer that I'd have this operation. Mainly I want to see my children grow up, and I think that's the most important thing to me. It's a huge benefit to know about having a gene, because you can make choices on the back of it, and your choices can fit in with you and your family and your dreams and your desires. And I think that's the most important thing about knowing about the gene. You haven't got cancer, you've got a gene, and you can make your choices around that.
My role as a genetic counsellor is to assess a patient's risk for developing certain types of cancers on the basis of their family history. So the result of a gene test may inform patients about their risks for developing certain types of cancers and whether or not there are risk-reducing options such as risk-reducing surgery that may be appropriate for them. We do get asked, what would you do if you were me? And it's a question that I can't answer, well, I would do this or well, I would do that, but I can say, these are the sorts of things that I would think about in trying to decide whether or not to have genetic testing or whether or not to have risk-reducing surgery.
My role as a psychotherapist in this hospital is that we offer both inpatients and some outpatients a space to talk about their illnesses, what's happening to them, how it's impacting them, maybe how they want to move forward into the future. I think it's also about psychological readiness. It's about preparing the person for different eventualities, including the fact that occasionally reconstructions fail. One of my roles is to help the person think about their body image, how comfortable they feel with a changed body image, what that means in terms of their relationships, and whether that's something that they're comfortable with. Most often, people pre-op talk to me about what it'd be like to not be able to do their normal things in the immediate aftermath of surgery, particularly as there's often younger women with children. I don't always offer advice, but I will help the patient to think through how they're feeling, what their concerns are, what their worries are, and help them to find ways forward with that suit them and their lifestyles and their families.
I definitely worry about my husband and my children more than me. I also can't help but worry about what he will think of me looks-wise. I know for him it won't be a massive issue, but it will be for me. And so I've tried to prepare him by showing him photos and potentially what to expect. And I think that side is daunting.
So the initial thought is that you're a bit hard done by, but then you flip it around for the positives, that you've got, this knowledge to do something about it. It's going to be an eye-opener for me, because I'm just a creature of habit. I go to work and I come home and sort of that's my part of the deal sort of thing. So if she didn't go ahead with the mastectomy, again, our relationship is about supporting each other, so I would have supported her. Without the operation, we'd always be looking over our shoulders, which is not healthy for us and our 3 kids.
You hear a lot of people questioning why on earth you'd ever have that operation. People don't understand why we're having it done, but they don't have to live with it, and 85% is such a high chance. I'm quite a positive person and I handle things as best I can, but you can't help but get in the bath and do your self-checks and think, when am I going to feel a lump? It does rule your life a little bit, but in a good way as well. I've chosen to put a positive spin on it by running the marathon, by supporting breast cancer campaign, and I think that makes a difference to my life. I've found a new vocation in a sense, and so it's given something back to me as well.
Some patients want to just bury their head in the sand. They don't want to know anything. They want you just to do the surgery, have it done, but don't tell me anything that's going to happen. And that can be difficult because we find that patients that actually who understand what is going to happen actually make a better recovery. We would invite them to our BRA group, Breast Reconstruction Awareness, where they can meet other patients. We like to call them our show and tell girls. We set the Breast Reconstruction Awareness group up in 2004 because we realised that women wanted to meet other patients, other women that had been through the same situation. And also it was an opportunity to give them the right information, tell them about pre and post-op care, tell them what to bring in with them, all those things that, you know, we all get worried about when we're coming into hospital. And just helping them to be reassured that yes, it does happen to other people, and there are patients around that are happy to show them their wounds, and that's what they want to see. They want to see, well, what will it look like? How will it affect me? What will it affect? How will it affect my lifestyle, my body image? Will I look normal in clothes? All those things are really important to women.
Today is the day before my operation, and it feels like it's been a long time coming, and I'm excited about the next chapter in life.
My name is Venkat Ramakrishnan. I'm a plastic surgeon. In the plastic surgery unit, my role is to deal with patients who have breast reconstructions. Patients who are seeking risk-reducing mastectomy, as we know from Charlotte's journey, it is a very difficult decision for them to make. They do not have a cancer and they are wanting to have the risk of cancer reduced. To have both breasts removed in a young patient and not have a reconstruction could be quite a devastating effect on their life and lifestyle. These reconstructions have to last a lifetime because many patients who have such reconstructions will go on to live even longer than normal population because the breast cancer risk is reduced.
It's 6:30 on the morning of the operation. I've been woken up, I've had my water, and I'm just about to get showered. I did feel almost a bit euphoric last night, and it's a bit of a come down this morning. It just all feels a bit surreal going into the operation as though it's not really happening.
It could be quite daunting to make a decision on what type of reconstruction to choose. At St Andrews Centre, we have the whole range of options available, and we will advise the patient about all types of options and discuss the most suited option for the patient and help them to choose the right one.
My surgeon told me worst case scenario was that I might not be able to have reconstruction, or it might not take. He said, so you always have to go into the operation thinking what would happen if I came out without reconstruction. And I think I would find it hard to deal with, but I think I'd have to tell myself why I had it done.
We met Charlotte when she first came to see me in my clinic. My assessment was to look at her breast and see what type of reconstruction would suit that breast best. Body's own tissue is the best tissue to last a lifetime, so we start looking at different areas. First we go to the tummy, and if there's not much tummy, as Charlotte didn't have much of a tummy, then we went to the thighs, the inside of the thighs. The natural tissue from the body used for breast reconstruction is best because it lives with the patient, it ages with the patient like rest of the patient's tissue, and there is no implant which requires replacement. To rebuild both breasts would take us about 7 to 8 hours in surgery. The important thing is these do not translate as life-threatening risks, because even a 10-minute operation on the heart or lungs would be carrying more risk than an 8-hour operation on skin and fat.
I've just come round from the operation. I've been awake for about 3 hours now. The next few days are going to be the hardest, certainly till day 3. I expect it to be quite hard, but I'm out, I'm through, and I feel okay at the moment. The last 48 hours have been pretty horrific. I ended up back in theatre, needed blood transfusions, just wondered how I was going to get through it, but I'm now here and I feel a lot better. It's Thursday night and I'm feeling quite fed up tonight. The nights are really long. You generally perk up a bit in the day and feel a bit better sometimes, but the nights just go on forever. It's quite emotional coming home. You realise how vulnerable and how weak you are. And you're so excited to see the children, but they didn't understand why they couldn't cuddle me, why they couldn't run up to me. And it was a really difficult time coming home. That's the hardest part I've found, actually, the emotional side of not being able to care for the children and constantly needing support. I've still got a recovery road ahead of me, of course, but come sort of September time it'll all be behind me, and I've got a fantastic new pair of breasts at the end of it. Everybody I met in hospital who had had their operation said, you turn a corner at day 3, and it took me till day 4 to turn the corner. When people came to visit, if they wanted to look, I let them. My husband didn't look on the first day, but he felt ready on the second day, and he was amazed. People don't expect them to look the way they do. That boosts your confidence and you just feel they're your breasts and that they look good as your breasts. As time goes on, that sense of relief is definitely washing over me, and I realise that I've no longer got a risk of breast cancer, and that's ultimately what I always wanted and why I had this operation. Having BRCA2 is a very personal journey, and just because surgery was right for me doesn't mean it's right for everybody. You just have to do what's right for you, especially if it's preventative surgery. We do have a choice. Even if there are little hurdles along the way, you will get there and you will recover and you will be you again.